Deadpool and Wolverine just came out, and I absolutely love the movie. In my collection, I have a couple different movie versions of Deadpool by Phoenix Customs, and a couple different movie Wolverines by different companies. Of course, with the new movie out, I wanted to get the figures that represent the characters in that movie, and Jaka is the first company to release options for those, being their first figures in their newest ready-to-sale sort of line of figures. And I really wanted the Jaka Wolverine, but they were selling them together, so I also got the Deadpool. I'm interested to see how their figures compare to the Phoenix Customs one, especially since I love their newest version of the character. And I was very excited to pick up the Wolverine since I love the claws on their Logan Wolverine, and I'm sure they'll be just as good here. But let's go ahead and check out the contents of the packaging. And both characters come in the usual Jaka minifigure cases where you just slide off the lid. It's slightly transparent, has the logo on the front. Inside of each container, we have the individual bag for the base minifigures, both Deadpool and Wolverine, and all their accessories. Looks like each of them comes with 3 extra heads to toss onto the minifigures. Deadpool, of course, has his swords in the sort of scabbard. Wolverine with his shoulder pads, which are magnetic. I'm excited to see how those work. One thing that Jaka put in this as well is the cowl for Wolverine, which is probably kind of based on concept art, but looks good in the bag. I'm excited to see that on the stand. Extra arms for Wolverine since he has the sleeved and sleeveless version from the movie. Deadpool again with the extra heads and 2 different sets of pistols, which are also important from the movie. Each minifigure comes with a silver card by Jaka with their basically drawn render of the minifigure. And on the back of both of them will be the same, where it has their Instagram tag being Jaka just write-ups about the minifigures. The parts used for both characters are going to be official minifigure parts, other than obviously the custom molded parts. Those would not be official, but probably use the same type of plastic as Lego. Lots to unpack here, but let's go ahead and get into Wolverine and get him on the stand. Wolverine in his base look, you get the sleeveless look with the unmasked head. Hair's looking nice, where I do think the color is pretty fitting for what Lego does, especially on the shine wise. Just want to say, light spoilers for the movie are going to be in this review since I'm going to talk about some accuracies with the costume and all that, so just want to warn anybody ahead of time. Same will go for Deadpool when we get to him. But liking the shaping of the hair, the angry expression here is also pretty good. Claws are looking cool, where they are shorter, but a lot stiffer, so you don't have to worry about them being crooked. Silver is looking very clean on those. On the arms you got some muscle lines, as well as the gauntlets or glove tops printed on as well. I am liking the detailing all around. One bummer though for this version of the character is that the side of the torso is yellow, when it should really be dark blue to match the rest of the design. So that kind of throws the look off a little bit, especially in the sleeveless design, I would say. I guess I would also point out, when we're talking about the sleeves, or the sleeveless arms, I should say, you get the claws off and you switch them between the arms, and you can see that the top of the hand, or top of the arm where the hand goes, is still flesh, not printed dark blue. So there's going to be some color discrepancies in this look of the character. So one trade-off for this minifigure. Legs, though, are looking good. You can see the dark blue continue from the torso down to the legs. There is a little bit of extra design as you bend the minifigure back, but get too far back. There's a gap between the dark blue and the yellow. Inside of the legs are also printed, though, which is nice, so you get the full boot design all the way around the minifigure leg. So that's a good look, and I am liking these feet, how they kind of match the comic sort of Wolverine boots where they have like the, I don't know what you would call it, but the weird spikes on the sides. I do really enjoy the suit, mostly just from the movie look, is just the yellow continuing around to accent the rest of the colors. I think that is my favorite thing, where they're trying to do some of the comic book designs in here without making it 100% a comic suit. So you get like kind of the tiger stripes with that yellow on the sides. It's not perfect, but they're kind of insinuating the design in different areas, even at the top of the sort of chest area. And the muscle lines on this are kind of armor plating of some sort. The X logo on the belt looks great in red. back of the torso too, same sort of tiger striping, implied lines going throughout. I'm liking the detailing I'm seeing, maybe not 100% accurate since this was based off of set leaks, but also I'm thinking they're getting it down pretty well. But let's go ahead and toss on the other head that is unmasked. And this is another great facial design. I feel like the likeness is very good. Hair matches the same color-wise from the plastic to the print, which is nice to see. Eye lines sort of change a little bit between the angry expression and this one, which is also accurate since his face is in a different position. So good to see them not just reusing the same sort of lines. Looks like when it comes to the masked heads, it uses the same sort of formula where they have the one that is neutral, like this one, then one that is also screaming. So basically they have the two different options and the two different masked orientations. Another cool detail is that both of these arms have magnets in the pegs for the shoulder pads. They're not going to look super great with the sleeveless arms on since the flesh is still going to peek through at the top. But you can do this combo. It probably looks okay from the front in certain angles if you wanted to try doing some photos, but there are going to be some gaps, unfortunately, which is bound to happen, especially in the back. You can see a lot more of the arms. It's nice that they did include magnets in both sets of arms, so you can do this. Obviously, you might not actually want to in this case, since, like I said, spoilers, it doesn't actually have the shoulder pads like this in the movie with the sleeveless arms. But you can do it. And while we're talking about the sleeves, let's toss those arms on and one of the masked heads. And these arms provide a lot of the same. I forgot to point it out earlier, but the sort of glove tops wrap around the entirety of the arm. Same goes for the sleeved arms here. Blue on the inside. And the sort of design line work on these sleeves matches the rest of the suit, so love the consistency there. These arms are going to have the same problem as the other ones though, where the top of the arm isn't the same color as the hand, since there's yellow showing, but I feel like in this case the extra yellow just ties into the overall suit design, not as off-putting as the flesh showing through the top there. And the shoulder pad areas are black, which also is accurate to the movie from these scenes when he has the sleeves on. Head is done with like a weird sleeping mask looking thing. Eyes are actually slightly different shape, so that's kind of fun to give it slight variation. And getting the mask on, noticing like it's annoying to get on because it like scrapes the printing. I'm just so sick of all my Jaka minifigures getting damaged by like using their accessories as intended. I just feel like that's going to be an issue here with this mask. Looks like on this face it's sitting too low, so the nose is covering the mouth, so not looking great. I guess you can try and move it up a little bit. It doesn't actually hold in with friction at all. It's just sitting on top of the head. And then just the side friction, not like a anti-stud, is holding it in place. I feel like the black is a little shiny compared to what it should be if it was the Lego plastic part. The yellow feels pretty similar, but again, really shiny. There are some molded details in the mask. There's like a line going across, two going to the back. And then on the side with the fins, another line kind of crossing through those. You can see as the light is reflecting. Like I said though, this also has the magnets in the arms, so you can toss on the shoulder pads. And this is going to be kind of the intended look with those, since this is what is accurate to the design in the movie. Use the sleeves here with those. I feel like they really fit super naturally. Maybe that's because I need to switch them to the other arms. I'm not sure if these are specific to one side or not, since they're not labeled. Looks like they are pretty much the same, but it's nice to get the extra detailing here. It adds a little bulk. One thing I guess I would say is that maybe it's a little better with the mask look since the yellow kind of continues down, but just like the little bit of extra neck yellow. So I would prefer the masked look here in this case. This is a nice look, really liking the detailing, like I already said, on the sleeves. Just nice continued detail. Molded parts are cool. And we'll throw on the angry masked head. I would say kind of the same issue as before, where the mask hangs a little too low onto the mouth. You can kind of rectify it a little bit. I noticed the heads are really loose, at least these yellow ones are on the torso, where they just rotate around a little too easily, which is unfortunate with a mask that's kind of tight and you're trying to adjust it, you're knocking the shoulder pads out. So it's just a lot of extra steps for extra detail, which can be nice, but also kind of a hassle. But you got the whole very comic accurate looking, I guess, astonishing X-Men inspired movie suit here. I'd say that's kind of the closest comic book design to this one. Claws, amazing. And I guess I'll just show off the unmasked heads with this look as well. I think this is a great combo too, and makes it very difficult to decide how I'm going to display this minifigure. I wasn't originally thinking of getting the Phoenix Customs one since I was getting this one, but looking at it now, I guess it would be nice to have one with the sleeves, one without the sleeves, so I could have two different versions of the suit next to each other. And again, probably one masked, one unmasked. And while we're at it, I guess I'll toss on one of the cross-check Wolverine heads too. And this is just sort of a sad reminder of what we could have had if they actually went with comic movie suits to begin with all of the X-Men and Wolverine. Do like the look here. I just love that cross-check Hugh Jackman head. It looks perfect. And I guess one more head we'll toss on the head from the Jaka Logan minifigure. And again, just a cool looking combo. I did just realize when I picked up this minifigure, though, the claws are different since this one has like the little parts that they come out of on the glove. So that's nice to see that isn't just a reused mold. Didn't even realize that until now. And we can toss on the newer Jaka hairpiece as well for this character. And that definitely works too. You know, there's some color difference there. But that is what that looks like. Great Wolverine. Let's jump into Deadpool. And the parts used for this minifigure are really interesting to me. The torso and the legs are both black parts with red printed on them. Then the arms are red. And mask is also red with black printed on them. So I would have expected that the legs would have been red since there is so much more red than black on them. That'd be kind of a risk if you're printing all that color on there. It wouldn't match other parts. But I would say for the most part, the reds are consistent all the way throughout with whether it's the plastic or the ink. So it's nice to see that that didn't go wrong. Whether it's the suit design overall or the minifigure design, where when I have it next to the Phoenix Custom one, I don't know, it feels off to me in some ways. I think it might be the mask, where it just doesn't have the like heavier detail lines on it. So you just lose the extra depth and texture of that. And maybe it is just that the suit is new, so it's not as damaged. There's not wear and tear on it. That just throws me off a little bit. I guess on the shoulders, there's some additional line work to show some creases or seams in that. Same goes for the back, where it is just like flat red. I just don't feel like that necessarily works for me, but that is how the back of the Phoenix Customs one is too. Get some nice pouches, the sort of strap going around his body for his scabbard, sheath, whatever you want to call it. Belt buckle is that new design, which I don't love. I feel like that has always been my least favorite Deadpool belt design. I do really like when it has the round eyes that was on the Deadpool 1 and 2 suit, which was kind of implied in the belt on the Phoenix Customs one here, just wasn't done perfectly. There are some nice detailing, though. The hands are printed with that gold plating, which is accurate to the movie. And there is wraparound strap detailing on the arm going around to the inside of it. That is on both sides too. I'm assuming inside of the legs, yep. Boots are printed, so you get the wraparound going around the entire part of the leg. Just like Wolverine though, no printing on the sides of Deadpool here, which is fine. The black fits perfectly with the rest of his suit design, so I wouldn't expect it here. One thing missing is on this new mask, there's supposed to be like side seam sort of designs on the side of the head, not present, which is fine, I guess. And then on the back, you get like the weird little mask dip, some extra creasing. Just kind of nice to see that being two different colors, where it's that black and also kind of the dark red or dark gray. I think this is supposed to be more the surprise expression on the mask. And really the only difference between this suit and the other movies is that there's like the weird loops at the top there on this like pec area. The biggest and I guess main accessory of the minifigure is the magnetized swords, which fit on the back. These are definitely a lot larger than the Phoenix Customs version, so that'll stand out a lot in your display. Plus they have some gold accents on the back and also on the handles. These come out nice and easy. I'm able to see how they fit into one of the hands. I'm sure they'll be fine. But there's the metallic printing where the hand goes. Ooh, that's a little tight. But you can toss them in a hand. So that's cool. I do like the silver on these. I have bad luck with Jaka's silver printed parts though, so I'm going to do my best not to rub my fingers on those. And I would definitely say if you tip this upside down, the swords are going to kind of fall out. Oh, I guess, oh, yeah. So be careful with those. Don't lose your parts. Don't step on them by accident or something like that and accidentally break them. But I do really like these being magnetized. It does kind of take away from the minifigure though, where he usually has like that black choker design on his suits. So you're missing that little bit of extra black on the neck of the minifigure. And for the other hand accessories, you get the black Desert Eagles and then the gold plated Desert Eagle Pistoleros, which are from Nice Pool in the movie. So you get 2 of each of those. I'll just toss 1 of each in each hand. And these are fitting accessories. It is nice to get them in the 2 different colors, so you have options. And one thing I'll say about the suit in the movie is just, it's interesting to see it with all the gold accents versus what was previously silver in like every other movie. I think that kind of is iffy to me. See it in the buckles and the gloves, guns. So I hate change, I guess. Maybe that's what it is. On the leg there, you got the little sheath for baby knife. Good to see that. Would have loved to see a molded baby knife. And then also at the tops of the legs, you got the holsters for the guns. In theory, if they were magnetized or something, that would be nice. I know that's what Jin's doing. You could toss them there. Otherwise, it's implied that that's where they would come from if you have them in his hand. And we got a couple more head options, so let's toss those on. For the next one, we have the more squinted, serious fighting eyes. Again, having the dark gray be so subtle, you lose a lot of the detailing on here. It just all kind of blends together and looks very comic booky, not necessarily the movie suit, where I feel like the seam lines are a lot more apparent, and that added like geometry just makes it more interesting, which you're losing here, because there's also some dark red for those seam lines at the top and bottom where the line going up and down the mask would be. Got 1 more masthead. The last mask look here is unique to this minifigure since Phoenix Customs didn't have one in theirs, and it is the sort of attitude winky look that he has all the time in the comics. So that's nice to have. That's something unique, and probably the head I would display on this minifigure since, you know, don't have another version of it. 1 more head being his unmasked look though, so let's check that out. And I am very whelmed on this one too, where, I don't know, it just feels a little busy. I just really loved Phoenix Customs version. I think the eyebrows just look a lot nicer and the colors just are more coherent. On this one, it is very comic accurate, I would say, where it is a lot more splotchy, but the eyebrows don't stand out a bunch. They are there where there's the shaping. I just feel like it must be the smile in the eyes just look a little goofy and cartoony, which I don't love. Back of the head though, you got the little staples of hair from his hair system. So that's nice to see. Nothing like that on the front though, which is fine since most of that detailing would be on the top of the head where they obviously can't print. Nothing on the sides of the head though, so not going to be continuous. I don't think Phoenix did that either, so not a big deal, but something I'm pointing out. And those are all the options for Deadpool. You get a lot, which is nice. Not my favorite minifigure probably. There are positives to it though, like printed hands, the arms look great, and overall the detailing looks cool. I'm glad that the reds matched since they printed on a lot of it. But there we go, Wolverine and Deadpool from Deadpool and Wolverine. Let's go to the comparisons and the final verdict. The figures I've gotten into my movie X-Men collection have been awesome. I'm glad I can finally build this collection. And the 2 Jaka minifigures today do the part for now. I'll have to see when the Phoenix Customs minifigures come out, how they compare, and I am excited to kind of see them side by side, make that decision if I want to resell one of them. But accessory-wise, these are pretty good. Jaka Wolverine claws are just perfect, the way that they actually hold their shape and don't get crooked. That was one complaint about the cross-check ones, is that claws just ended up being a little funky, and I do like that they actually are molded onto the hand. Just makes the overall package a lot better. And it is nice to kind of have all of the different movie suits kind of next to each other here. You know, the Logan suit is just him in civilian clothes, which is fine. One thing I noticed and I thought about is that the Jaka mask works with the official Lego Wolverine figure too, the CMF one, because it is yellow and matches up with the mask. On top of that, you can use the Jaka Wolverine heads with the official mask too. So you can play around with those, get some different looks, and if that's your preferred look for your collection, perfect. Otherwise, just some options that I wanted to show. Same goes for Deadpool, just seeing the evolution from origins in Lego form to the newest movie now. It's just very fun to see. Having two very detailed versions of one of my favorite movie Marvel characters. Awesome. And it is always kind of interesting when one company does a figure and then the other also does, obviously, different suit, but just how they translate different aspects of the suit and how they look when they're actually next to each other, especially in the mask. That is the thing that I pointed out that is the most difference. I do really enjoy the Phoenix one, where it just has like the extra dark and colored areas to give it more depth, more defined shaping. I think that helps a lot. I just like the scaling of this one too. I feel like there's just too much red in this suit, and that could just be the way that it is in the movie, and it's not a valid complaint for the minifigure, and I don't like it, but just with all the red, it just feels very flat, and the extra line work and depth on the last movie minifigure, and especially this Phoenix custom version of it, just stand out so much to me and make it a better figure. And then I get to this one, and just a lot of color blocks and all that. It doesn't stand out to me as the best look. The swords, it is nice that the scabbard on the back there feels like it stays put a lot better. The magnet in the torso for this minifigure is actually stuck up in there. My one for the Phoenix one is loose and falls down, which is probably why I have such an issue like keeping the swords placed where I want them to. On that end too, the sword's a lot bigger on this minifigure. That's what's going to be nice about the Phoenix one. How I'm sure that the swords will basically be the exact same size as the one on here. And I just like the area that it takes up. It doesn't stick out as much as this one. But Wolverine wise, I do like the molded parts we got. Hair piece looks good. Shoulder pieces work. It is just a weird design in the movie where like the black still shows, so they couldn't just do like a sleeve sort of design like the Citizen Brick minifigures do. But we'll see what else gets put out from this movie. I think there's a lot of characters I would really love to see, and I would definitely want to get any Deadpool variants that come out just to fill in this collection. I definitely want to get anything that Phoenix Customs puts out for this movie, since where we are right now, I have every single Fox movie minifigure by him, I'm pretty sure. Other than Mystique, I have every Deadpool movie minifigure by him for sure, since I have all of the Deadpool 2 minifigures and both color variants of the original Deadpool. But that is kind of like what I'm collecting right now when it comes to the movie sort of MCU minifigures. And we'll see with Jaka, I'll probably get their Dogpool and maybe their Lady Deadpool. I like it. I don't know. We'll see. But options are going to be coming out, and it is a good time to be collecting. If you want to see more custom Lego Deadpool or X-Men videos overall, check out the videos on my channel. I have been Brick Radiop, and I will see you in the next video.